Okay, so now we're going to jump to the video of Mickey Stein's daughter speaking out on TikTok. And this is important for a couple of reasons. Perspective number one, like, what is the story here? We heard her name mentioned. How is she involved? A lot of people thought the worst. A lot of people ran with the worst. I don't think there's anything. I think there was a lot of well-intentioned people that said, was she a victim here? Was he standing up for his daughter? Was he standing in her shoes? And, that's okay for thinking that she may have been involved based on the stuff, in my opinion, right? Based on what we heard. But the people that would run with rumors and create stories and say they know this for a fact, and it really affects people's lives. And, anybody that comes on YouTube or social media or talks about this stuff really has to understand these are real people on the other side. And I think some people get that rude awakening sometimes if something happens to them and they feel what it's like on that other side. Or I'm with dealing with a lot of criminal defendants and victims of horrible circumstances. And when your life gets put through the ringer, even if it's not a public high profile thing, but it's just a public lawsuit that you're fighting, that the other side gets to dig into your life and you feel like a criminal defendant or a victim of the system, regardless, it's very, very difficult to deal with. So she's going to let us in a little window into what she's going through, how she's feeling. Is she involved in this case? Do we think she'll end up being a witness in this case? Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lila Stines. I am 18 years old, and I am from Letcher County, Kentucky. Most of you may know me, and the others may recognize my last name. On September 19th, a little over a year ago, a lot of people's lives changed forever, including mine. I'm not going to go into detail. I will not be talking about it, but I just have one question. Do you all not have anything better to do than to sit and gossip? You are taking my pain and making it your pleasure. You're taking our stories and turning them into big entertainment pieces, jokes, and for that matter, you're making it your income. Since when did that become okay? So my advice to the people doing that, get a job, do something meaningful with your life, and contribute to society in a positive way. That's all. I come on here today to address a couple things about yesterday's video. When I posted that video, I only had about 950 followers. I did not think it would go anywhere. I thought, people from home's going to see it, maybe a couple others, and that'll be that. So the first thing I want to say is I had good intentions with that video. A lot of you were asking what stories, what do you mean by gossip? And what I mean by that is the stories that were made up about me and the other party. And that is where the gossip comes in at.
So I assume she means the judge when she says the other party. And yeah, I know a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about her telling people to stop talking about her and things like that. And then, she goes on TikTok and talks about it herself. I get that. You got to understand where somebody's coming from and what their life looks like and what their days look like and how brutal it must be and hard it must be. Her life's been flipped upside down. And it's got to be impossible. You can't imagine what she's going through. So give as much grace as you possibly can to her. Because I know people are going to have thoughts about that. Now, is it fair for people to talk about a public case? In my opinion, obviously, the answer is yes. But should we try to treat people with grace, understand they're human beings, not try to ruin somebody's life and make up rumors about them or stories about them that we don't know are true? I think that's important as well. Take things with a grain of salt. So she probably got some pushback, my guess is, on the first video. So she kind of made this follow-up video. And she's 18 years old, right? Trying to navigate this world and potential. I'm backing it up a little bit from the beginning of the second video so we can kind of see the update she's giving from the first video. But does she know how to deal with this? Would anybody know how to deal with this, right? Especially at 18 years old. So this is how she's dealing with it. Maybe she will provide more updates. Maybe she won't. But she's going to specifically say it's the people Yeah, discussion is different from gossip. I completely agree with that. I could not agree with that more. So she's going to address that and specify. And then she's also going to make it very clear that those things are rumors and she has no relationship with the other party and none of that is true. And she's not going to be some star witness for the defense to say, my dad stepped in to protect me. Now, but Peter, you said a lot of this stuff was good for the Mickey Stines defense. I'll tell you why and how this is still good at the end.
Yesterday's video. When I posted that video, I only had about 950 followers. I did not think it would go anywhere. I thought, people from home's going to see it, maybe a couple others, and that'll be that. So the first thing I want to say is I had good intentions with that video. A lot of you were asking, what stories? What do you mean by gossip? And what I mean by that is the stories that were made up about me and the other party. And that is where the gossip comes in at. I wasn't actually talking about the situation and what actually happened itself. I was more leaning towards the rumors that had been spread about me. I am aware of how serious.
She says she's not specifically talking about the situation itself, meaning people talking about the case is how I read that. I could be wrong about it, but she did clarify that.
This is and how rumors that had been spread about me. I am aware of how serious this is and how much of a big deal it is. I was not talking about news or social media. I was simply talking about the people who sit at home behind a keyboard all day and say terrible things about my name. That's who I was talking about. At the end of the day, I'm just human. I'm just trying to learn how to process and cope with it all. I do want to add one more thing. A lot of you were saying, girl, this happened a year ago. Like, why are you still going on about it?
Who in their right mind would ever say that? It's like, if this was your dad and it happened a year ago, it's like, shouldn't you just be past this? That was a wild one to me. It's a wild. Sometimes as somebody with a little bit of experience in this, one person commenting something can feel like a big deal, but it's really not. And it's not the sentiment of everybody. My guess is that's probably what happened here, is that somebody said this, but most people I don't think would be like, why aren't you over it already? It's been a year.
To you, it happened a year ago. For me, when I wake up, it's the first thing I see on my phone. It's the last thing I see when I lay down, and I'm not looking for it. It's just right in my face. I have to deal with it every day when I wake up. So no, it's not gone. It's not died down. It won't for a while.
So that's the end of that. And again, as a kid who didn't grow up with social media as a kid and how hard it is to stay away from things, I can only imagine what it's like for her and the world she lives in now, the whirlwind that she did not choose to be in the middle of. She did not choose to become a noticeable or recognizable person because of this. It's brutal. It's brutal. So we will do our best